Welcome back, Leapers. Welcome back to the Leapcast. Of course, I'm Dave's Dimension, the dimensional Ghostbuster time traveler. And of course, we have Super Awesome Geek Show, or as he's known as today, he is Johnson Leap. So, hey, Duffman Zararama in the chat. What's going on, guys? We're discussing the latest episode of Quantum Leap. It's 2023. We just leaped in from 2022. Let's forget that year. We're in 2023, the very first episode of Quantum Leap. I couldn't watch it actually last night. I had to watch it early this morning thanks to, well, there's a little bit of craziness going on in the world yesterday, Monday Night Football. We're not going to get into that too much, but thoughts and prayers are going out to him. One of our Buffalo Bills had a cardiac arrest, and he's being monitored. So some crazy things going on in the world. But let's talk about Quantum Leap. Let's catch up on the chat first. We got Duffman's Diorama, the man, the myth, the diorama master himself. The Duffman of figures. We got Stream Elements hanging out.
Hey, Stream Elements.
I want to rename Stream Elements Ziggy. I'm really tempted.
Yeah, there you go. Can you rename it?
I don't know.
Captain Spaulding
and Broduce. We got
Gap After Dark.
We got the Gap Man himself. Captain Spaulding's in the house. Everyone's saying hello to Super John. Everyone's saying hello to each other.
There's Ricardo.
We got Ricardo in the house. Ricardo, what's for dinner tonight, man? We want to know what you're snacking on. Ricardo comes up with some amazing snacks. We were talking about food yesterday on our boy KBG's game stream last night.
LeBron Fett.
Who knows? Maybe in a week or two, somebody might be getting rid of his Xbox and jumping over to PlayStation. We'll see what happens. I'm selling Proton packs. The fun of PS5, so we'll see what happens with that. LeBron Fett.
Jay Vizsla. That we got everybody in the house.
So let's talk about Quantum Leap. Long story short, let's do a quick recap on Quantum Leap. Quantum Leap was originally a series back in the 90s, well, from 89 to 93, about a time traveler, a scientist who was pressured to prove his theories or lose funding. He jumped into the Quantum Leap accelerator and found himself leaping from life to life, striving to put right what once went wrong and hoping each time that the next leap would be the leap home. He never made it home, obviously. And now, of course, we have the new series, which is a continuation of that. Our boy Ben has been leaping from life to life, but haphazardly throughout time. And we know that now the rules of quantum leaping are out the window. You can leap forward, you can leap backwards, you can leap sideways. Who knows?
Well, has he leapt into the future yet? I don't think Ben has,
not
right?
beyond 2022. No, not yet.
Not yet. Yeah,
but
they're saying they think it's possible.
Yes. Thanks to the one of the lead scientists, he said, well, hypothetically, this could go in either direction, meaning that, Ben is going to possibly leap into the future to save Addison at some point in time. We don't know. That could be 6 months from now. Could be 16 years from now. We don't know.
Yeah.
Let's catch up here. I've been playing PlayStation. I won at RAF. Oh, wow.
Nice.
Awesome.
Nice one, yeah.
I don't win anything in my job except more headaches. That's another story. PS5 is awesome. Yeah. Side note, I actually have someone who's interested in one of my proton packs, and I'm selling another one, and because I got to make room for my HasLab. But so maybe I'll be jumping to PS5.
Well, it's funny because what if you don't like the HasLab as much as the one you sold?
Well, the ones I'm selling are the Spirit proton. They're just 80% scale proton packs.
Oh, okay, they're smaller.
So
yeah.
I still have my 1-to-1 scale.
Right, I see that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's not going anywhere. I will be rebuilding the wand though, but that's another story. But yeah. Trust me, from everything I know and from people I've been talking to Ghostbusters Dublin, I did a video thanks to their pictures. I'm definitely not going to be disappointed.
Yeah, okay.
Considering a full-scale pack usually runs between $9 to $1,200. So, yeah, just chilling. Ricardo, not sure on dinner yet. Snacks. I have to raid the snack cabinet. You have a snack cabinet? You have a snack cabinet? I mean, I got some chocolate chip cookies, but I don't have a snack cabinet. Rolando saying, we got Rolando Flores, the multiversal moderator himself.
Yes.
I'm honestly, John, I'm not convinced that Rolando is not a parallel hybrid computer that can exist in all points in time.
Like Rob said, he's a robot. He's Rolando Bot.
Listen, Rolando could be Ziggy's cousin.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. How many times do you jump into some different streams and Rolando is there already?
Oh, I was in a stream that I didn't think anyone really knew much about. It's someone we don't
and
normally
Rolando
watch.
Was there.
And Rolando was there. Yeah.
And I'm telling you, Rolando exists within the space-time continuum at every point. He is what you call unstuck.
Yeah.
He exists at every point in time, okay? He exploded inside a quantum leap accelerator, and now he's in every point in every dimension in the world, in the multiverse out there. So,
looks like America's Most Wanted popped in.
AM Dubs?
The AM Dubs is here, yeah.
AM Dubs, my brother from another mother, ain't like no other. Was it? I was bad on Entertainment Earth with this New Year's sale. Now they got another sale.
I know. I have 2 boxes coming from Entertainment Earth. I ordered one set of stuff, and then the same thing he's doing. A couple of days later, there was another sale, and I ordered another box of stuff.
By the way, if anyone out there wants to help me out with a nice little experiment, message me. I got affiliate status with Entertainment Earth. I applied for it, and apparently anyone can apply for it and get it.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see how that actually works. Everyone's
I know mine works because I've been getting notifications that people are using it. So
AM Dubs, man, I'm glad to see you come through. I haven't heard much from you. I hope you're doing well, man. Stay safe. Hope everything is good. America's Most Wanted. He is just that, in a good way. In a good way. Let's catch up. So
he's a Nexus being.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. But Quantum Leap, Ben Song, leaping from different points in time, and his love, Madison, apparently will die at some point in time in the future, and now he's on a mission to save her, but we really don't know a whole lot. We do know that from the original series, Admiral Al Calvici had daughters, and one of them, Janice, had been working with Ben, and we know that Ben went to her for help, and not with the project, but to her specifically. We don't know all the details of that yet, so who knows? But we're going to get more into that in a little bit later. I get off at night. Hey, whoa. We don't need to know when you get off. Okay? The door, you know what I'm saying?
Mega Demon Collects is here. What's up? Well, she did say so. They had to go pick her up out of the country, and she did hint.
Jen went sideways on that, man. She went sideways. She went like Ocean's 11 because Janice, they were in like, what was it, Brazil, or I forgot where it was, like Rio or somewhere.
I think it was Brazil, but yeah, whatever.
Brazil, yeah. Well, we see Jen approach Janice, and they're talking, and then Janice is like getting up to leave, and she's like, "Oh, those are my bodyguards," and Jen's like, "Well,
we pay
not
more
anymore. We pay more." And it's like Jen already flipped the guards before Janice even knew.
Yeah,
that's Ocean's 11 right there. Listen, I would not want to piss Jen off. Okay,
no.
Jen is like man.
But Janice hinted that the reason Ben came to her was because there was someone in the group that Ben didn't trust.
Yeah, there has to be someone, but is it someone that we know? Is it Ian?
Oh, so you mean it could be outside the group, like in the senator or someone like that
It
that's
could be
funding the
someone.
project?
I mean, we see a lot of
Yeah,
support staff at the project for one, right?
yeah.
We see a lot
Unnamed
of
people
support
walking
staff.
around the
Yeah.
background, stuff like that.
Now,
Yeah.
here's something. Here. Speak. You mentioned the senator, and that just sparked something in my head here. Remember the senator? Okay. Magic said, "Well, when we perfect everything, we could go back and save your brother."
Yep.
What if this doesn't happen? What if the senator gets a little froggy, right? She gets a little froggy. She gets her hands on that file about that mystery leaper, that Leaper X, who hasn't leaped yet because he's a younger soldier. Okay? And what if because she is, kind of shunned, that she decides, you know what? I'm gonna start my own Black Ops version of Project Quantum Leap. And maybe that's the beginning of the Evil Leaper project for all that we know. Then again, it might already exist. But I mean, there's a lot of shadiness that could be going on. I mean, and even Magic said that we only have so many people at the project. He said this in the episode. We have so many people working for the project, and then we have maybe one jet. So I mean, we hear that obviously resources are stretched thin. So I mean, there's a lot of things that are kind of uncertain. Uh, no, I have not. Mystery Leaper is who knows? I mean,
Captain Spaulding, was that the sideshow one that for $8,000?
that's a whole lot of gold.
Yeah. That should be shipping in February, I think, if anyone ordered it.
You gotta be careful when you time travel, John. You know why? You might get a dark flash chasing after you.
Yeah, those flash effects look great on the feet.
Hey, video coming out Thursday, guys. That's my figure of the year from 2022. That's my figure of the year, by the way. But yeah, this episode, it featured now anyone who was originally a fan of the original series. You might remember an episode, I call it Fate's Wide Wheel. It's when Sam leaped into a glam rock star, and played by the name of Tonic, I think the character's name was. And with that, Tonic was actually kind of like he was supposed to get killed at some point by a strange, crazed fan, which actually turned out to be his son. Not Sam's son, but Tonic's son. And there was a whole kind of like, this is what that episode kind of felt like. It felt very much like that. It felt like this was kind of not necessarily a ripoff, but more of an homage, kind of a mirror.
Yeah, because it even had a family member suspected of killing him. Yeah, and he had to bring them together. Yeah.
I mean, that's what kind of felt like, and I liked how like, okay, this is time travel 101. Okay, we fixed one situation. Well, now that situation doesn't happen that way, but it happens this way now, and then it happens this way. This is what we should be seeing a little bit more in Quantum Leap, because how many times was, okay, Sam fixed one thing, and then this happens, and then this happens. It was a cascading effect. It's a recurring trope in time travel, not just Quantum Leap, Back to the Future. I mean, a whole bunch of things happen. You fix one thing, something else happens. CW's The Flash. Whenever The Flash changes something, there's a ripple effect. One little change causes everything else to kind of cascade around it.
Yeah.
But
she kept saying, "Oh no, now she dies during this," and then he's like, "All right," and he stops that. Oh, now she dies at this time. So.
And I mean, me, I'll be honest. I kind of felt like a little something was a little sideways with the killer, because we find out that one of the backup singers is the killer. And hey, Berserker, we got Berserker Bloodline saying, "Hey, what's up, Dave and everyone? Yeah, we're doing I don't think
How you doing?
Berserker knew. We did the Quantum Leap Leapcast when the new episodes came out, so we're back in action. A Berserker talking about Quantum Leap. I
am my own grandpa.
LeBron. LeBron. The only time that could happen is Power Rangers. Okay, I'm going to give you a little background. In the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Tommy, when he was the White Ranger, they took a little part of his hair. They made an evil clone and gave the evil clone the Green Ranger powers. He defeats the Green one, and they go back in time to save the Rangers who are stuck in Colonial Angel Grove. Well, evil Tommy, who's now good with the Green Ranger powers, decides to stay back there. And then Tommy and the other Rangers go back to their time. So, hypothetically, that clone is Tommy's own ancestor.
Yeah.
So, hey, it could happen. It's kind of you said
Futurama. Yeah.
Definitely. My third sports figure came in today. First, my Bobby Clark, then Nice. Very cool. Super awesome. John, I saw something over the weekend. I was tempted to get it, but I don't have any other figures to complement it. ED 209's at Target.
Oh yeah, the Ed 209, yeah.
The NECA for $84.99. I'm like, it's a bit much. Well, I'm sure he's a good size.
You would have to leave it in the box because as soon as you took it out, it'll break in half.
Maybe. It's not a Ninja Turtle. But I don't have the RoboCop, so there's no sense in it.
Yeah.
But
well, I'm telling you, Dave. I mean, people don't believe me. I mean, ask anyone who collects NECA if they open them up, half their figures are broken, and I'll tell you that every single one of mine, every single NECA figure I have ever, every NECA figure I've ever opened except for one. The only one that's still intact is the Predator. Every single other NECA figure has broken.
My Back to the Future ones have been awesome. The only breakage I've had with NECA was Leonardo's katanas. They broke right away.
And my Alien figure, I didn't even touch it. It was standing on the shelf, and one day it fell over. And when I went over to pick it up to see, what happened, the feet were in the pegs of the display stand, and it had busted at the ankle just from standing up. So the ankles broke when no one even touched it. It just snapped on its own.
See, I'm good. I've lucked out, but also I've never heated anything up either.
Neither have I.
I'm walking a dangerous line. I mean, I do have a heat gun.
Look at that thing, yeah.
Well, no, I actually used it to remove my Ghostbuster decal skins off my Xbox because I'm trading it in soon. And no residue or anything. But yeah. But yeah, LeBron says he's Tom because that's totally different from Tommy. Yes, well, he could have been Thomas or Tomei.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a whole thing. Especially they did a Wild West episode where Kimberly was stuck in the Old West, and they had the lone stranger, which was basically Tommy all in white with like a green handkerchief. He was his own ancestor. It happens. If I have a few people who are interested in, I have a. Let me show you guys. We're gonna bend the stream right there. See that blue Proton Pack? I had designed that to look like the real Ghostbusters.
Oh yeah.
And I have a weathered Spirit Halloween with a Spangler wand. I'm selling one for $2. The real Ghostbusters one I'm selling for $250 plus shipping, and then that one up there, since it has a Spangler wand with it and it's heavily weathered, and I'm going to include a trap with it. I'm selling that one for $350 plus shipping. So that should cover me on the Xbox and maybe a game or two. And then whatever I get for trading in the Xbox, I'll get a couple games to go with it, and I should be good to go.
Yeah. There's a growing number of people within our toy and comic community that all have PlayStation 5s. So everybody started gaming together. We've had some
peer pressure.
We've had some pretty big groups on like Fall Guys and other free games that everyone
I mean, like, I wouldn't mind
easily.
like joining was it Sir Eric, and he's been gaming with Dude on Gotham Knights, and it's like, well, the thing is, I want to play Gotham Knights, but you can't play it on my computer, can't do it, and it's only like there's a lot of games that you have to have a next generational console,
Gotcha.
so you're kind of being screwed. You're kind of being left in the dust, so to speak. But let's get back to Quantum Leap. We had this singer who seems very, very genuine, very, very personable, very good-hearted person.
Yeah.
Her sister is estranged because her sister had drug issues, or she was an alcoholic or whatever. She was, she had substance abuse, and this takes place in the 70s, but like the later 70s when it's more close to 80s kind of styles.
It was 79.
Yeah. So I mean, it was a pretty good episode, but again, I like how they're splitting the future or the present for us. They're splitting the present and the storylines evenly right now. I think they're doing a pretty good job of it. It wasn't all that exciting of an episode. And we're getting Addison, oh, I'm hurt. How dare he do this? Addison, shut the hell up. Because if it was, no, hear me out.
Yeah.
Addison is like, well, how dare he do this? And, I want to defend myself. Yeah, okay. What would you do, Addison, if you found out that Ben was going to get killed? In the past, or let's say there was something that was going to happen 20 years from now, and are you going to wait a whole friggin' 20 years? No. You have a time machine. You're going to jump in there and you're going to try and save him. It's a double standard. It's the biggest double standard, if anything. Correct me if I'm wrong, John. I mean,
no. I often say that it's part of television. It's part of television writing and how to boost the drama within a television. Because the other trope I always see is stuff like this where in real life people wouldn't be upset at this. They'd understand and they would talk it out. And the other one that always gets me is when someone reveals that they've been working for the CIA for the last 20 years, and the wife or whatever gets all pissed off saying, "You've been lying to me forever." You know what I mean? And it's like, that's not true either. I have people in my own family, including my own father, who had a secret life.
True Lies with Schwarzenegger. True Lies, perfect example.
Yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis is all butthurt.
And
she's stepping out on him with what's his name? Who's really a car salesman.
When people come clean after, my dad had a 35-year non-disclosure agreement, and when he finally came clean and told us that he worked on the moon landing, and all that stuff, we didn't go, "You've been lying to us our entire lives." You know what I mean? We that's freaking cool. Tell us more. It was. So I don't think people in real life do that. They understand. We've seen enough CIA movies and other things to know that if the government and these people ask you to sign an NDA, you keep your mouth shut.
Exactly, but I mean, it's
not like you're lying.
You know what gets me? I think Addison is like, well, she's her like, how dare he? Why wouldn't he bring this to me? One, foreknowledge. If I tell you this is going to happen, well, now it's not going to happen that same way. This episode is a perfect example of that.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Addison tells him, okay, it's going to happen this way. We prevent this. Oh, now it's going to happen this way. Now it's going to happen this way. I mean, if he comes to her and tells her, she has foreknowledge, but what if him telling her in the first place is what causes her to die? Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Or makes it so that like think about this. If Ben found out Ben doesn't remember right now what's going to happen. But let's say him and Janice did find out the exact way that she's going to die. Well, if he tells Addison how it's going to happen, she might avoid that situation and then die a different way.
Yeah.
And now he's not going to be there to save her because he changed the way that it happens.
Everybody at the project is asking all the wrong questions. Here's the one question that they need to friggin' ask themselves. How does Ben know she's going to die in the future? The only way he's going to know is either if there's another leaper or him from the future tells himself it's either him or it's another leaper from some point in time giving him information that she's going to die. How else are they going to know that? There's no other way that he would know that. That's the question they need to ask, is not why did he take it upon himself?
Could they have sent it through Ziggy somehow? Because if Ziggy's the same in the past, now, in the future, let's say he's all derived from the same programming. Could you? Because there's that idea of quantum entanglement, right? Quantum entanglement.
You're talking about sending information backwards in time to Ziggy at earlier points.
Yeah, but if Ziggy has some sort of quantum entanglement within it, then you could do that, because you could change the particles in the future, and they would change in all times because they're entangled.
Again, I want to say this. And I don't know all the physics, the quantum physics like you do, John. But to me, I look at it from this way: it's still a form of foreknowledge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if Ziggy now has that information, that changes Ziggy's algorithms and patterns, right?
Yeah. Which they did say there's something different about Ziggy. They did say there was something changed and different about him.
Well, we know that Ziggy wasn't acting correctly, but that could be Janice's interactions, or it could be another entity altogether. That's what we don't know. And speaking of don't knowing,
hey Vader,
I haven't seen this person in a long time. Hey, Cat Attack, how you doing, Cat? Hope you're having a good Tuesday. Welcome to 2023. It's always a good stream when Cat's here. Orlando's saying, hey, Cat, and we're throwing some links. By the way, anyone who's in this chat, if you want to throw a link in, feel free to share your Instagrams, your Twitters, your Facebooks, your YouTubes, whatever you have. Maybe you got some TikToking. I'm not a TikToker. I don't do TikToks. I'm not a TikTok person. I'll watch a video or two, but I'm just not a TikToker. I'm just not a TikToker. Let's take. Oh, by the way, LeBron Fett, I got a belated Christmas gift for you right now, my friend. There we go. Let's see who else needs a little love in here. Not everyone else has the power, and so does LeBron Fett now. You've been wrenched, my friend. So anyone, feel free to drop some links.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I give everyone wrenches so they can just drop their links anytime they want. Really, Duffman? Really? Did you see what Duffman put?
Beatpics.com.
Listen, is that where Rolando met Natalie? But I mean, that's the thing. We don't know what could there be another virus? Could the beginning of Lothos, the evil project, be somehow interacting with Ziggy? Or the question is this really Ziggy, or is this a different version of Ziggy that we have?
Yeah,
it's kind of like look at back in the early 2000s, they did a reboot of Knight Rider. Kind of, it was a continuation, soft reboot of Knight Rider, but it was a different AI of Kit, but they still called it Kit.
Mm-hmm.
So could this be maybe some root algorithms of Ziggy, but be a slightly different Ziggy? We have yet to hear Ziggy's voice.
Yeah, no, they didn't do any of that in this show.
That's one thing as a Quantum Leap nerd that really rubs me the wrong way. I'm like, come on, give us Ziggy's voice at least in the project, I watched twice today. Ricardo says, awesome. But what the Gap say? I wonder if somebody did an OnlyFans with feet from action figures, if they would make a lot of money based on, that sounds like a job for Vern. I mean, he's the head swapper.
Yeah.
Right? it's Zig instead of Ziggy. Who knows? Could be Ziggurat. But I mean, there's a lot that we don't know. I mean, it's going to be interesting now that Janice is at the project. John, I'm calling it right now. Now that Janice is at the project, there's going to be a moment when all hell's breaking loose and she's going to save the project.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Come on. Now that she's there, now that she's
and then she's going to be part of the team. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
What if Jen is the mole?
I don't know.
It was mentioned, Janice mentioned how Jen's father has gambling debts.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, and who's to say that Jen's not working with the senator? I mean, this could all be piecing together, And Jen, here's one more piece of information for you, my friend. Remember when they were at Janice's secret lab underneath the house, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Jen was so adamant that she had to get that drive out of everything else. She had to get that drive out. Didn't that seem a little bit too, like she was too focused on that one particular drive? I mean, I'm just throwing that out there. It just seemed like she was so adamant about that. And it just so happens she was in the right place at the right time. There's just certain things that seem a little bit too, I don't know, too neat.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. And, I mean, when you start thinking about everybody, I mean, obviously it can't be Addison. I can't believe it would be
Ian?
Well, yeah, Ian and the what's his name
Magic?
there?
Magic?
Yeah, Magic. Yeah. Cuz why would Magic cause Addison's death and be in that situation?
No.
And then Ian just doesn't seem like it's within his character. Like I don't know.
Now here's another thing. What if Addison's death is really, it's not like someone killed her, it's an accident?
Yeah, I guess so.
See, people are going to be focusing like, well, one, we don't know how she dies for one. That's the big thing. A lot of people are going to assume she's just like when Magic was talking to Addison.
We were assuming murdered, but you're right. What if it's an accident?
I used to be a warrior. I understand a warrior's mind. Who's to say that it's something violent? It could be her crossing the street.
Yeah.
It could be, there's a child that, twists their leg in the street. She pushes the child out of the way. She gets hit by a bus or a car or something. It could be something innocent.
Yeah.
But that could be enough to drive a person to perfect example. And this mirrors this episode perfectly. Movie called The Time Machine, not the original one, not the George Powell one, but there was a remake in the early 2000s. Okay, which actually was directed by Simon Wells, great grandson of H.G. Wells.
Oh, H.G. Okay.
Okay, it's really his great grandson who directed the movie. It's a very good movie where you get a scientist by the name of Alexander Hartigan who builds his own time machine. It's a very beautiful time machine. Very beautiful time machine itself, using crystals and glass and shimmering light, and it's visually stunning. But reason why he builds this time machine is because his fiance was killed. She dies in one way. He goes back to save her. She dies another way, and then another way, and then another way. And he becomes obsessed. He wants to travel forward through time to find out why he can't change the past.
Yeah.
I mean, for all we know, this mission of Ben's, he's gonna fail one way or the other. He's gonna fail in some shape or form. For all that we know, he could fail 1,000 times. He's focused on one specific destination and point. But what if by doing that, there's a whole series of points that he now has to keep going? So
there's that
he's on a trajectory to one point in time. But what if when he does that, she's going to die another way and then another way, and he's going to have to keep on leaping?
Yeah, there's that theory. There is a theory within the time travel theorists, people who think about this stuff that like if time travel is invented somewhere in the future, the reason we don't see effects of time travel is because time itself flowing through like a river
Yeah.
wouldn't allow anything to be changed in the past. So, like, if you went back in time and tried to stop someone from dying, you might stop them from getting hit by the bus, but when they walk down the road and turn the corner, they're hit by a car. And then you try to stop them from being hit by the car,
Exactly.
and like they go the next street and a piano falls on them out of a window or something.
Yeah,
Like
Ricardo
a
says,
piano's falling out of a window. But I mean, you
Ricardo
know what I
says
mean?
he likes that version of the time machine. But
Yeah, like you can't ever.
that's the thing. In that movie, he travels literally hundreds of thousands of years in the future. You get the Eloy and
Yeah.
and everything just like in the original one. But he talks to one which is actually Jeremy Irons. Okay, and hey JJ, we got JJ stopping
Yeah,
by
John
saying
Joker.
hey to both of us.
Good to see John Joker.
I hope you're having a great New Year's. Hope you and the family are doing well. In the movie The Time Machine, he even says, "Well, the reason why you can't change the past, you wound up building your time machine to change the past, and if it wasn't for you building the time machine, it's like,
Yeah.
it's your own monsters, your own
It's your own
creation.
paradox because
Yeah,
if you went back and stopped her from dying, you never would have made the time machine. So yeah,
exactly.
that's kind of what the theory is. So no matter how many times you try to save that person's life in the past, they're always going to die in a different way in a relative same time period because it happened already. So it's got to continue to happen. It'll always happen,
Yeah,
and
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 JJ,
there's a
thanks for that. Everyone, I mean,
yeah
everyone in
yeah
Buffalo is. I mean, I knew people who were at the game last night, and it was such a surreal event.
yeah
And I mean, everyone's flocking, and I'm proud of our team and the Cincinnati Bengals for the decision they made. It wasn't the NFL that made this decision; they made the decision themselves. Um, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the future. But first and foremost, everyone's worried about this. I mean, this amazing player, the Buffalo Bills, a young man. He suddenly had a cardiac arrest. You know, it was no fault to the player that he tackled. It was no other player's fault. I mean, sometimes these things. I mean, JJ
yeah
knows being in the medical field. He knows that sometimes there's a combination of there's a sequence of events that just happen and fall into place that can cause these kinds of situations. I just hope that he pulls through, and it's just kind of everyone here in Buffalo is just in shock of this happening. Um, there's
yeah
pictures of Josh Allen, breaking out in tears because I mean, it's someone looking outside might say, "Hey, this is just football. These are just athletes." No, they're brothers. You're on a team together. You go through the worst. You go through the good times, the bad times. They're your family. So I mean, it's you know, yeah.
Well, that and
That
what is it?
to me that would make the
Jeremy
most sense.
Jeremy Renner, Hawkeye too. That news was
Yeah,
bad too.
they posted pictures of him today. I mean, he looks really bad, but from what I understand, his tractor or whatever he was driving turned over. His legs. I even saw
Caught. Yeah,
TMZ put some kind of story about his legs being shredded to some extent. I don't know the severity of that. He's had several surgeries. He's another one that I'm hoping pulls through. I mean, he's been around for ages.
yeah.
Jeremy Renner has been acting a very long time. He's best known for Hawkeye. He appeared in one of the Born Ultimatum, I
Yeah,
think it
Bourne
was.
films and yeah,
I mean, he was in SWAT. He was even in an episode of Angel, this Buffy spinoff years ago. I mean, he's been around for a very long time. He's a great actor. Funny movie called Tag. Um,
yep.
I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
he's an amazing actor, and he's had his ups and downs too. and I hope he comes through that as well.
Yeah, I thought it crushed his
Okay.
legs, but I'm not. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not. It's a little bit. I'm not sure how it exactly happened, but I thought it crushed
Yeah,
his legs. Yeah, or something.
yeah. I can definitely see. I really honestly, um, unless they did a storyline where maybe Jeremy Renner is restricted to maybe a wheelchair or some other type of situation. I mean, he's a good actor. He's a great person, and it's just sad when you hear stuff like everyday stuff like plowing snow. You
I
know,
know.
and it
Yeah.
wasn't like he was doing it for a movie or something. He was just taking care of his land. He's a family guy.
Well, it made my dad think about the guy who played in Star Trek and his Jeep backing over him in the garage
Oh
or
yeah,
in the driveway.
the young man who played Chekhov
Chekhov. Yeah, in the new movies.
in the new ones. Yeah,
Again,
I
it
mean,
was just a freak accident at home.
yeah,
Like
his car, because he had a brick mailbox, and his car slipped down the road, and it just
pinned him, squished him.
yeah, it pinned
Yeah,
him. It's sad when these like everyday things kind of take people away from us. I mean, um, there's been a lot of celebrity deaths. I mean, you had Barbara Walters right before the New Year's, and you had the Pope, and and it's yeah, Anton Yelchin, who
that's it.
also
Yeah, Anton. Yeah,
he starred in the remake of Fright Night, which I didn't see. But yeah, it's just really sad, and fingers crossed that everyone in Buffalo. But what's been amazing is celebrities have come forward, and they've been saying because this young man he has an amazing charity, similar to Toys for Tots, helping out family members,
hmm
helping out low income families, getting them holiday gifts and stuff. Amazing, and his charity over since last night over $400 million or no $4 million have been donated to his charity.
wow, wow.
I mean, the thing is about Buffalo Mafia, when we know that someone's in pain, it could be someone that's part of our collective, someone who is part of a different collective. We will come out in droves and we will help in some shape or form. There's been times when other teams, I'm trying to remember, it was happened like a year or two ago. One team, one of their players was going through a really tough time. I forgot what it was specifically. I think it was their child or something was very ill. Bill's Mafia, like they donated $500,000 in 24 hours to that guy's charity. So I mean, they, one thing about Buffalo is you can hear a lot of negativity, but when push comes to shove, we'll come out and we come out like there's no tomorrow. I mean, that's why it's Bill's Mafia. We're all family.
Yeah,
So it's yeah, weird how a conservative year has taken another well-known person before the next year, Barbara Walters, and then last year, 2020, yeah, Betty White. I mean, uh, Jason David Frank. Well, I mean, that's more of a person taking their own life, but there's a lot of loss this past year. It's it's crazy. It just makes you appreciate the time you have. I mean, fingers crossed that that he comes through, but we'll see what happens with that. Um, it's just my wife was watching the game last night. I was working on making some videos, so I wasn't watching it at the time. But then I hear about what's going on. I check it out, and it's just yeah. Damar Hamlin is his name. He's still in critical condition, and it's just weird that someone so young can have a cardiac arrest. Honestly, my brother a couple years ago he had a heart attack, and he's in his 30s. There's no time limit, or there's no requirement that you have to be umpteen years for something like this to happen. So, prayers and thoughts going out to the Hamlin family. I mean, fingers crossed. Consecutive,
yeah. They're
consecutive. I mean,
saying
well, it was kind of a conservative consecutive year.
they're saying that yeah, his was a cardiac arrest, comotio cordis. The heart rhythm was disrupted because of an electrical failure within his nerves, caused by a sudden blow to the chest wall.
Yeah.
So it literally was probably the way that they came together. The pressure on his chest just caused his heart to stop.
Well, here's another thing. Because of this, there might be maybe a reevaluation of padding.
Padding, yeah, there might be padding that extends down over the chest
something
wall.
that is, something that's maybe like more of a, I don't know, more of a reactive kind of memory foam, like padding for the inside to kind of soften those kinds of blows. I mean, something like that could happen. I remember back in the 80s and 90s, a lot of players would wear those extra kind of two braces around their necks, to help cushion. Steve Tasker, Buffalo Bill player, special teams, he had a special helmet that would help impact his head because he had the regular helmet, but then he had an extra shell on top that was made to help with the blows and everything. I mean, there's the technologies out there. I mean, this, I think, is going to be a wake-up call, one, for the NFL to reevaluate these kinds of situations, because now that it's happened, unfortunately, they don't have these scenarios out there, but now that it's happened, they're going to have to reevaluate things. I like what John put here. As Cowboys, as a Cowboy fan, they say they have the most loyal fans, but I don't believe that. I think it's the Buffalo Bills that are true loyal fans. It's, we jokingly call ourselves the Mafia, but that's really what we are. We're that ride or die, no matter what happens, we're there for our family members. One of our most prolific fans from a few years ago had cancer, but he showed up every single game. Anyone who's a Bills fan, you know who I'm talking about. He had this whole he kind of had like a Rey Mysterio kind of mask. He just was always in full regalia. But yeah, it's it's sad, but fingers crossed that Hamlin comes through. Fingers crossed for him. I mean, we can just have prayers and thoughts and just be positive and support everyone, and we just have to see what happens day by day. True data, Bills fans are the best. Yes, and we're the most destructive when it comes to plastic folding tables. But yeah, let's get back to Quantum Leap. The reason why this stream is here. It didn't seem all that progressive as an episode. We finally capture Janice.
Yeah.
But Janice,
I enjoyed it, but that was probably the only thing that happened. Yeah.
But here's the thing: Janice wasn't putting up much of a fight. If you notice, she could have tried. But I like the callback when Jen was like, "Well, I'll pass on a drink," coming from someone who, drugged their mother's tea.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And then she said family is complicated.
Yep. Well, it is. Dave, honestly, the Bills the best. The first true dynasty at AFC East before the Patriots. Come on, the first and only team to repeat 4 years in a row, even though they lost. And yes, we lost twice to the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on, Quantum Leap. No, you're fine. You're fine, JJ. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, let's.
Well, they're still the only team to make it 4 years in a row, right?
No. 4 years in a row, possibly.
I think four. I think 4 in a row. Oh. Yes, but I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong. But I thought they were still the only team with that record. But anyways. But yeah, she probably did want to be. I mean, maybe she wanted to be found and have that discussion. But the way she stood up and had her bodyguards there, I don't think she wanted to go with Jen right then. Do you know what I mean? Because otherwise she wouldn't have had her bodyguard. And it's like, but they
No, it is the Bills. The Bills have the record for most consecutive Super Bowl appearances with 4 from 1990 to 1993. And then the 3 consecutive appearances were held by the Miami Dolphins. Wow, 71 to 73, and then the Patriots 2016 to 2018. So yeah, the Bills still hold the title.
Yeah.
But But yeah, I mean, Janice, she didn't put up much of a fight, but I think maybe she wanted to be eventually caught. That's another thing. Is maybe she wanted to be caught because maybe she wants or needs to be at the project now.
I would think she would want to be in the project, yeah.
And who's to say when she did her hacking into Ziggy, because Ziggy, you got to figure, is probably running the entire base, the entire facility, right? Including security protocols.
Yeah.
Voice activation. I'm just saying. So we'll see what happens with that. I mean, that's one. I'm like I said, I'm calling it that Janice does something to save the project.
I really think so.
Right now, I'm thinking it's going to be Jen. It would be completely out of nowhere if it's Ian who's the mastermind.
Yeah.
You know?
Unless like you said, it's an accident. Do you know what I mean? Like, but if someone in the project is a mole or is in some way working against the others, it probably makes sense to be Jen over all the other characters that we've met so far, unless there's someone new.
Because it's not going to be magic. There's no way in hell.
Yeah, and it's clearly not Addison herself,
By the way, I'm waiting for this. I'm waiting for Ben, or rather for Addison. What if Addison's pregnant?
Yeah, I know. I never thought about that, but you're right. Yeah. They could always throw that wrench in at some point whenever they want.
Yeah. Or what if she dies from a pregnancy at some point in the future? And it's not Ben's. No, I'm kidding. Speaking of pregnancies, I want everyone to give up a big congratulations to the Legacy of Nerd. He is a proud papa. He's got a bouncing baby daughter, soon to be the Legacy of Nerdette Ranger. She's gonna be a Legacy Ranger. We know this. Big congrats to Legacy of a Nerd. He's an awesome friend of the channel, awesome guy all around. Congratulations. I've said congratulations to him before, but I want everybody in the chat to throw your hands up. I want some clapping emojis or some hand emojis in the chat for Legacy of a Nerd. And by the way, anyone who is in this chat right now, if you're not following Legacy of a Nerd, Rolando, please drop. Oh, he already did.
Already there, yeah.
Already there. I want you guys to check out Legacy of a Nerd. Amazing content. This guy knows anything and everything Power Rangers related, and you guys need to check him out. He hangs out with General Kenobi, another amazing channel. These guys are amazing. You need to check them the hell out. So please check them out. Hey, Legacy. How is Mom Legacy and baby girl Legacy? I said she's going to be Legacy of a Nerdette. I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
It's a dynasty. Come on. Papa Legacy. That's what I'm talking about, guys. You guys, man, you do my heart good, man. This is what I love to see. Congrats, Legacy. My wife and I just had our baby girl on the 22nd of December. Awesome. That's what I love to see, man. Mom and girl are doing great. Now Legacy, are you getting any sleep? Are you getting any sleep now?
Wait a minute. Isn't that 2 for John Joker? That's the second child for John Joker, right?
Yeah, because he had his girl, and then he had the boy. And congratulations to JJ. You gotta get the clan going. He's got to get the gang. Nothing wrong with staying busy. Hey, Dennis. Saying good evening to everyone.
Dennis,
thanks for popping in. This stream's been off the rails, but
Blue
honestly,
Sasquatch, Blue Sasquatch is here.
This episode really was. This is almost a filler episode in a way, if you think about it. Aside from the capture of Janice, this was very much a filler episode because there really wasn't.
Well, it kind of gets you back into it's kind of one of those things that, like, after a break, it's got to get you back into the show.
Got to ease you in.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking next week's episode might be the gut punch. It might be like something that just comes out of left center because we haven't seen the Leaper X, as we called it, as I think you were calling it Leaper X.
Yeah, again.
Yeah, because I think this is the right moment for us to find out Leaper X, because they're going to think that Janice is somehow connected to him, even though she's not.
Yeah.
And we know that they're going to do something to Janice, but we don't know what. Because remember, she makes the little snide comment, well, I know you're not the waterboarding type. So,
but you're right. I actually don't think they're going to have to do anything, because I think you're right. It would be a perfect way. I mean, again, writers of TV shows do this all the time, and it fits perfect for this show. During either the next episode or the episode after, so next week or 2 weeks from now.
Okay,
they're going to have some kind of problem. They're going to have some kind of problem where, like, Ziggy goes haywire, or the computer controlling the leap goes nuts, and the only one who can fix it will be Janice. She'll come out of her.
Before we address JJ's question, now that you're mentioning that, it's going to be a situation where something happens with Ian, or maybe Ian betrays them, or Ian's just out of the picture. Something's going wrong with Ziggy, the imaging chamber. They can't get a lock, and the only person with the computer know-how is going to be Janice.
Yeah.
And Magic,
lets her out
up against the wall, says, you know what, Janice, listen, I'll make you a deal. You get us back into contact with Ben, or you help us here, and we'll clean a slate, we'll discuss things, we'll open a door, whatever. Because let's face it, Magic views everyone as a family.
Yeah.
Right? Now, it would be out of left center if Ian was the one who's kind of masterminding things. There's been times when, like, oh, suddenly he cracked the encryption on this, or he did this, or he did that. It could be a bit neat, and plus the fact that Addison entrusts him with things. That's what spies do.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, they get people honestly, to think they're not the spy. Yeah.
And honestly, the actor who plays Ian has played some pretty devious characters. Anyone who's ever seen Sandman on Netflix, you know who I'm talking about. That's Ian. Ian plays kind of like I don't know if I think he's Lucifer in that series. And he plays a pretty devious character, so Ian is not so coy. So we'll see what happens.
But then again, there's nothing that says, because the only hint that was dropped was what, like, sort of like, how well do you trust the people that you work with, or whatever.
Well, I think the line was like, the question you should be asking yourself, Jen, is why didn't he come to you guys?
Yeah.
That's what she said, and that's a good point.
But here's the thing. It doesn't necessarily mean that any of them are doing anything nefarious. It really could mean that, like, what if, we're thinking there's some kind of person who's going to do some harm to Addison, and we're trying to say which of them.
That could still be the case, but
or we're thinking that one of them's there to sabotage the project in some way. But what if none of that is the case? What if it's just the senator?
We're going to have to keep an eye out. I mean, that's what we're going to have to do.
The senator that helps fund this whole thing wants results. Yes. So what if
she
it's
wants
not
what she wants?
What if it's nothing to do with that? What if it's just like Ian is reporting his findings to the senator? You know what I mean? That I could see as a thing happening. And
as trade, like, maybe she's like, well, you know what? If you'll do this for me, I'll make you head of the project. I'll give you funding for any pet project you want. So, I mean, there's a lot of things there.
It doesn't have to be so nefarious as like an evil plot or someone working against the project. It could just be something simple like that. And Ben didn't want the senator knowing that he was going to affect the future and jump. You know what I mean? Like that. It could be just as innocent as that.
Well, I know you have limited time because your time's almost up here. You said that you only have about an hour. So I want to address John's question here.
Yeah.
Question to you guys: 0 out of 10. How has this modernized Quantum Leap been so far? So, given that it's been what, 30 years?
Yeah, we're 9 episodes in now.
I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, I will say as a freshman season for a show.
Let's do it at the same time. So our
Okay.
numbers don't influence each other.
Okay. Now,
count to 3 and then we'll both say a number.
Well, considering this is a freshman season, and by the way, anyone watching this, if you don't know, it has been greenlit for season 2. So we are getting a second season next year. And I don't know, it may be a full season, in fact. So on a scale of 1 to 10, John, what grade do you give this season?
You want me just to say it? You don't want our numbers to influence each other?
Okay, count of 3. We're going to put our fingers up. 1, 2, 3.
8. I'm going with 8.
I'm going with 7. I'm going with 7 because we both have talked about this before. Ben got way comfortable and way situated with leaping right away.
Yeah, faster than Sam did, yeah.
Sam struggled for a long time, and even in the later seasons, he would find certain situations hard. Ben just seems to kind of go with the flow of it all, and I mean it's a bit off, but I also get that they had to evolve. The fact that in the original series it was all about the leaps, and now we're getting both sides of it, and I like the little added to it. I think they've, as far as modernizing Quantum Leap, I think they've done a good job, and I think they can do better.
There's room.
They can do better without shoving fan service down people's throat.
Yeah.
Do we want Scott Bakula back for an episode or two, or recurring episodes? Yes, we would love that. Do they have to do that? No, they don't have to do that. They could still do more justice to Quantum Leap.
Yeah. But
I think they need to find a few different ways. Like they've given us that there's another leaper out there. There could be more leapers out there.
Yeah.
John says, pretty high numbers, guys. Okay, I'll check it out when I take some time off.
Well, just for John and a couple of the people who might not have seen a lot of the episodes, what I like about it is the leap part. So the parts in the past where Ben is leaping is, to me, a lot like the old show. So that section, that part, that half of of each episode, it's interspersed. These episodes are dealing with the present and what's going on with the project of Quantum Leap, and they also have the leap as part of the story. And the leap part, that half of each episode, I think is very much like the old show. So that, to me, pulls on my nostalgia strings. It makes me reminisce to the old show. But then the modern stuff that's going on with the project Quantum Leap and why Ben leapt, and the senator who's in charge of like funding this operation, and why she wanted the project back up, and what's going to happen to Addison, and this whole thing with Janice, and which is Al's daughter from the original show. Like, that is forming a mystery and enough intrigue for me to say, like, this is building to a culmination point that sounds awesome. You know what I mean? It sounds like it's heading in an awesome direction that will form this really cool, like, mystery sort of story that's going on in the present. So you've got both. You kind of have two aspects of different genres of storytelling in one show. And I happen to like both of those genres, both of those stories. The nostalgia from the leap, and then the mystery of what's going on in the present. I think it works for me as a great television show. Oh, are you muted, Dave?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I was muted. No, we're at 15 likes right now. I'm looking at the live stream right now on YouTube. We're at 15 likes. But
yeah, JJ, it's directly connected to the old show.
Yeah, it's
absolutely. It's taking off with.
Yeah, like Ernie Hudson, who we referenced as Magic, is an actual person that Sam leaped in the original series. So this is a direct continuation. Janice is Janice Calavici, and one of Al's daughters.
Yep.
And this is a new Project Quantum Leap that doesn't take place in New Mexico. It's like in California, like in Los Angeles or something. or something like
Yeah,
that.
funded by the government, and a senator in the government.
Now, it even has Al's wife. The actress who played Al's wife in the original series, Beth, she even makes an appearance
Was in
an
it,
episode. Okay, wow, cool. I'll check it out. And it's available on Peacock, and so is the original Quantum Leap. So if anyone wants to binge the original series, Peacock Network, and so are the new episodes.
And the new episodes are on the NBC app. I watched it today directly on the NBC app. So
and every Monday night, new episodes at 10 p.m. Eastern. Hopefully, maybe we'll get a better time slot next season. I'm hoping. We'll see what happens with that. I'm showing 2, but my phone is laggy. Okay, no worries. And by the way, I want to thank anyone who's in this chat right now. I want to thank you guys for hanging out for these streams, hanging out on the regular streams that we do, the regular videos. Right now, we are sitting at 891 leapers, 891 dimensioners, 891 friends and family, 891 people who have decided to follow this crazy psychotic channel known as Dave's Dimension. Yeah, we are somehow 9 away from 900. I can't thank you guys enough for this. We're going to be having some crazy giveaways sometimes in the near future. So I just want to thank everyone for coming out, supporting, hanging out, having a good time with me, the psychotic Ghostbuster, and of course the complaint line for Lego.
Speaking of, I've got a
Johnson
giant pile. If you don't mind me saying, the prize packages for the Lego Jeopardy has come in, and I'll be doing a video. Hopefully, I'll put the video up tomorrow explaining the Jeopardy tournament of tournaments, and there will be Lego prizes for each stage of the tournament.
I'm curious to see what kind of Lego tournament this is. So
yeah,
I know you said Jeopardy, so
it's a Jeopardy game, and every week we will have different players, and it will culminate in a semifinals round, and then a finals, and the prizes get bigger as you go along. From
JJ, you do know that there was you do know there was a scrapped idea when Quantum Leap aired about having Sam leap into Magnum PI.
Yeah,
they were both Don Belisario shows.
Yeah,
and not for nothing, so's NCIS is Don Belisario. So it's not out of the realm of reason that maybe Ben finds Sam as he's a federal agent in New Orleans with a really bad accent. We don't know.
He got rid of the accent, though, Dave. He got rid of the accent.
Did he?
Yeah, I think they slowly.
Seasons. I only watched the first 2 seasons. I don't even watch NCIS anymore. After Gibbs left, Mark Harmon. After he left, I just can't watch it.
Yeah, I didn't watch it, but my brother and my mom were watching it, and we went over to their house once, and I was like, "Hey, his accent's gone," and Mark's like, "Oh yeah, over time they slowly sort of toned it down until he got back to talking like his normal."
Are you going to take control of Jeopardy game Super Awesome like
yeah, well,
like what the Geek Strong did?
Since there are real prizes this time, and it's not just joking around, we are going to have to be a little stricter with the rules, because we don't want anyone coming back and saying I should have won.
How big are these prizes, or is that going to be a mystery? Oh, speaking of mysteries, everybody hide the strawberries.
Hey, Scarif, what you doing?
Everybody hide the strawberries and hide your thrones. We got Shanti's in the chat hanging out. We're doing our Quantum Leap stream. Quantum Leap's back. We're just doing a little discussion here, Shanti. By the way, the sidebar cantina was an awesome stream yesterday, talking about music of 1995. I was digging that stream big time. Shanti, I'm definitely going to be hanging out and watching those guys every week now. That was fun. I mean, hanging out, talking about 1995 music. I mean, that was an awesome stream.
I can give a preview here. So the winners of round 1. So there'll be 6 games. I have 6 prizes for the winners of round 1. So there'll be 6 weeks of games done on Sunday afternoons probably.
Mhm.
And each of those winners will win a small prize. So something along the lines of this size, or
You got
there's a Star Wars one.
little
So a
Batman and
little
Hey.
sets, you know.
Nice.
And then there's two. There'll be two finals,
Yeah,
and
you got Shanty excited. She's like, Batman?
there'll be two finals, and then a wild card game, and the finals could win a set like this size or something like this.
Cool.
So the
Ahsoka.
finals will get slightly larger sets.
That's what she.
And then it comes to the actual prize. So then there'll be a final game where the champions of champions all meet, and the winner of that will get. So first off, we have a Lego trophy that says champion on it. So we got a trophy, and they win. Dun, 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 dun.
Nice.
The giant Boba Fett starship slave.
I have that one. That's a fun one.
So
that's a fun build right there.
So like I said, the prizes get bigger as you move along up the chain, and hopefully everybody has fun, you know. And
apparently, instead of dabs, we do strawberries in this chat. Everybody's doing strawberries now. No whipped cream emoji. Although that Ahsoka's nice. Ahsoka. Where's Nathan Bowden when we need him? Dude, Slave One so epic. Yes, LeBron, we will never say Boba Fett's ship. We will always use Slave One. It will always be Slave One. I don't care whose mother says what. That's always going to be Slave One. I'm sorry.
So on my channel tomorrow, there will be a video up explaining the different heats, the different matches, how it's going to work. The Jeopardy is going to be about 80s cartoons and 80s toys. So 80s to 90s. So 80s and 90s cartoons and toys is what all the Jeopardy games will be about. So you got to know your nostalgic history if you're going to participate.
Well,
and I need at least 18 players. If I get more, we're good, but 18's the minimum. So
well, you know, I already threw my hand.
Yeah.
For that, but
and I know Shanty did, and I think Kat did. So there's a few people who have already thrown their name.
You know what? I don't know if Shanty should be allowed because she wasn't even born in the 80s.
She knows enough. Come on. She'll get the 90s ones right? Yeah.
No, not even.
And it's stuff about, I mean, there'll be sections about Batman and stuff, you know? Yeah.
I mean, 80s and 90s like cartoons and stuff.
Yeah, Batman Adventures, yeah.
I'm thinking like Shirt Tales and stuff like that.
Yeah, Shirt Tales. We'll bring in that
Captain
stuff.
Caveman and Captain N the Game Master or the Alf cartoon. Remember Alf on Saturday mornings? I mean, there we go. The man, the myth, the legend himself.
Wolfpack.
Popping up in the chat.
Wolfpack.
Listen, everybody, I want everyone to throw a wolf emoji in the chats right now.
Woof, woof.
She's like, Betty Boop, bitch.
So any thoughts about the future? What do you think the next couple episodes? What do you expect to see?
Honestly, I'm trying to think because I don't know where the next couple episodes are going to take us. I mean, I want to see, obviously, the next episode it's going to have to do with them interrogating Janice.
Yeah.
In the present. Obviously, we're going to get that. Honestly, I want to see a little bit more developments in the leaps. I want to see a little bit more character development because the only kind of character development we've had with Ben is he's remembering more things.
Yeah.
I mean, in the past, Sam would remember bits and pieces, peaks and valleys, but then forget about the stuff every now and again. Ben is holding a consistent memory, and even Addison is calling back to past sleeps, and he's remembering it clearly. It's just a little too convenient to me. It's a little too clean.
Yeah.
Could that be a byproduct of the new form of leaping? Who knows?
Yeah, I don't
Maybe
know.
that there's not as much Swiss cheesing happening with the memories. We don't know. Um, that's kind of a petty gripe on my side. To be honest, let's be perfectly honest right there. But I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, obviously we're gonna have them interrogating Janice, and possibly within an episode or two after that, I think we're gonna get some kind of a twist.
Yeah,
There's gonna be
yeah,
some kind of a twist, and I honestly want to say I want to see the ex leaper or maybe another leaper
yeah,
comes across Ben.
yep.
That would make things even more interesting. And I want some Z. Yes, Dennis agreed. Agreed.
Ziggy, yeah,
Give us some Ziggy interaction. We want the voice of Ziggy. We heard her voice in the very first episode in the intro.
yeah. You're
Deborah
right.
Pratt's voice, and then we didn't get anything after that. Okay, we did not get anything after that. I think that's sorely missing. Okay, um, but going back to the whole Addison death thing, that could have to do with the original timeline one because they had said that they were a long way off before anyone stepping into the accelerator, right?
Yeah,
Maybe she was going to die in the accelerator, or at some future point in time, she's going to still step into the accelerator. You know,
that's right. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, it's like
because she was going to be the
because
leaper, and
if you
Ben was
think
going to be
about
the
this,
observer.
if he found out that she died, does he mean that she died while on a leap, or does he mean that she died after? Because she was the one who was originally going to leap before Ben leapt. So does that mean that Ben found out she was going to die on a leap, or did Ben find out that she was going to die like in her case she leapt and
Yeah.
came back? You know what I mean? And died like down the road. After
Yeah,
after
I
they
mean
were married or whatever. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of what ifs. We can sit here all
Yeah.
night doing what ifs.
Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting. I want to see a little bit more interaction because we know that other Leaper is out there. What their mission
Yeah.
is, we don't know. For all we know, their mission could be they were originally supposed to take out Addison at some point in time. It could be something nefarious or it could be something innocent. We don't know. For all we know, that this Leaper X, this evil person, could wind up being on our side.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't know. So we'll just
But
see
I
what
do
happens
agree.
with
We
it.
do have to see that other leaper and build that story up more sooner rather than later. So I do. Yeah. There's a lot. There's a lot that's already happened and a lot that could happen in this show.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Dennis, if his older self goes back and tells himself about the death and he prevents that death from happening, then how does his older self come back to tell him about it in the first place? Because then it never happens. Grandfather paradox. How do you go back in time and kill your grandfather before your father's born? Because if you kill him, then you're never born. So how do you go back in time to kill him in the first
Yeah.
place? So I mean, it's it's a paradox. You can't. It wouldn't necessarily work. But we've seen different time travel movies and TV shows where they've done stuff like this in the past. You know, like
Yeah.
Marty writing letters and different crazy stuff like that happening. I mean, there's got to be some method to the madness, and we'll see what happens. That's why the timeline changes each time, especially
Yeah.
if you read the Quantum Leap novels. They touch base on how time keeps changing every time Al would come in and out of the imaging chamber.
Yeah. Yeah.
Give us some more CGI looks at the. I want to see more of the project. I kind of want to know where the project is actually based in California. Give us some more information, and hell, I want to know what happened to the old project. Did they mothball the old mountain?
Is it still there, just with the door locked, or did they just dismantle all the equipment and pull it or take it away?
Time would keep correcting itself. Addison will still die. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, Wolfpack, where in this episode, every time the singer was going to die, Ben would stop it. She would save her, but then something else would happen. So yeah, it's going to be a cascading, never-ending loop that something else is going to keep happening. For a second there, I thought Shanty was going back with more FWs and blow up the whole who bothered her. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, we could sit here and talk about like what we think is going to happen, but I mean, we'll just have to wait to see.
Yeah.
Have trust in the writing, and I mean, the fact that we're going to have a season 2. We got a season 2 coming, so the writers are they're going to have to expand upon that. I'm going to say we're going to see Scott Bakula. If not by the end of this season, we're going to see him next season.
I agree.
Okay?
He'll come eventually.
Yeah. And I mean, another thing is we saw Beth. What about Donna? Is she alive?
Yeah.
Dr. Donna Lisi, Sam's wife. I'm freed up, Dave. Oh, if you're freed up, you want to hop in and because John's gonna pop off.
Yeah, I'm gonna be going here in a second. So if Wolfpack wants to come in and talk a little bit, you guys can keep chatting.
Yes, sir. So, John, I want to thank you for hopping in. I know you gotta jump out of here, and you got to you gotta take care of a few things and get ready for work tomorrow.
Yep. All right, so Dave, thank you so much. I appreciate this.
Sir.
I will see you next week. There's no more gaps for a little while, right? So, we'll be doing this.
The only gaps we have are the one in the chat.
So we'll be we'll hopefully be doing this each week for the next couple weeks. And
this is the only gap we have right here. The only gap we have coming right here is Gap After Dark.
Yeah.
But yeah. So John, we'll catch you.
And like I said, check in
some Leap.
Check in on the channel, on my channel tomorrow, the Super Awesome Geek Show, and I'll have something up in the afternoon about the Jeopardy championship thing going on. So, all right.
Catch you later.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you later.
Take care, John.
Wolfpack's coming in next.
Coming in hot. So, JJ's asking, so, gentlemen, now that we have seen Knight Rider, MacGyver, and now Quantum Leap come back, will we see a new Airwolf? I would love to see Airwolf. I have so many theories on how they could bring back Airwolf, like bring back the original helicopter, maybe throw some new technology in it, do kind of like a continuation. I think that would work. Knight Rider was good because it was a continuation of the original Knight Rider, very loosely based, but it was still a continuation. They had the mythology of the original series. Quantum Leap has the mythology. MacGyver was just a complete reboot. MacGyver was a complete reboot. It was okay, but it kind of fell off. It was kind of a little buddy. I think it missed a lot of points, but I mean, there were some good MacGyver episodes. I watched the new MacGyver series. I really appreciated it. It's sad how the series ended, and I don't mean the storylines, but I'm talking about behind the scenes. There's a lot of work quality conditions that were not right, and that ultimately brought about the end of that series. But I would love to see Knight Rider, or not Knight Rider. Well, I love Knight Rider, by the way. But Airwolf, I could see Airwolf coming back. But speaking of coming back, we got the pack. We got the Wolf Pack attack. There he is. The man, the myth, the Wolf Pack himself.
1 second. I got no sound. Check. I got Dollar Tree headphones. Let me see if I got sound. And then my tripod wants to.
It's okay. I have knockoff earbuds.
All right, there we go. Let me see. The tripod wants to keep going. This is how you know you're not ready to go live, bro. When you got all kinds of stuff going on. I'm off centered. Haven't had my BJ.
You're so excited, man. You know.
Lot to talk about. Yeah. Let me see if we can. Apologies for the. I'm down under. We don't. Whatever. It works. What's going on, Dave? Been a while.
Yeah, been a while. So I was telling John that I felt like this episode felt like I don't want to bring about like the haters, but like when Quantum Leap came back, a lot of haters were like, "Hey, they're doing this. This episode is almost like this episode that happened in the original series." And this one was one of those episodes. I have to admit, it was like Fate's Wide Wheel, where Sam leaped into a glam rock kind of Kiss kind of bands.
Yeah.
And he was the singer, and someone was going to kill him, and it happened to be a family member who was the suspect.
Mm-hmm.
That was vibing it the whole time, and having a song that was about a traveler going from place to place, trying to find her way back home. I'm like, that was Fate's White Wheel. It was, but it wasn't done bad. I like, we got a little bit of information, but like I told John, this felt like a filler episode, to be honest. It felt like a filler episode, because I mean, we had more action in the present than we had with the Leap.
With last night's episode.
Yeah, last night's episode.
Okay, so there were certain subtle callbacks. There wasn't anything that was flat out boom in your face. We're Quantum Leap fans. We catch the subtleties. Big ups on them for landing Deborah Wool for this project.
I was not hate. I told John off camera. I was not hating that, not one bit, because man, she's a favorite, man.
Yeah, I mean,
Daredevil, True Blood,
Yeah, Jessica Tandy and True Blood. We were just talking about. I think Miley Cyrus on New Year's had a girl that resembled her to me, at least, right? So I told my mother while watching the show, I was like, "Hey, that's Jessica Tandy."
I wasn't mad at them. I'm like, hey,
yeah,
I wouldn't mind seeing her appear in another episode. I'm just saying.
yeah, no, definitely. I liked it. It also had kind of the feel of you remember the episode? I want to say it was season 1, where Sam's kind of like a Ray Charles type guy that's blind, but he's not. Sam's not blind, but then he gets blinded and kind of has to actually be. So
yes, the pianist who is, and the mother's not. She's like totally against him and everything. They had the dog. The dog's name was Chopin. In fact, I remember
yeah. Yeah, so it had a little bit of feels to that one. It gave me those kind of vibes for one of the older, or the original episodes. The other one was one where Sam leaps into the older brother of it's a family of stunt doubles, and the older brother.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they make the bet at the end about like, they bet the father like, hey, if Gerald Ford trips down the stairs. He goes into the stunts, and
I think this
isn't gonna happen. Yeah. It was like those kisses with fate, those little references, the historical references. We're lacking that in these episodes, definitely.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying the last night's episode kind of gave me a few of those vibes. Shout out to John Joker. He said I'm the next quarterback up if Purdy goes down.
Go for it, man.
Hey, with that offense, you don't need much.
But
shout out to the Buffalo safety. You talk about that tonight yet at all or no?
Hamlin, yeah. I mean, it's very surreal. I mean, NFL does not have a scenario for this, but I guarantee in the offseason they're going to come up with a scenario for this.
Yeah, I mean, there really is no scenario. It was a freak accident, one in a million. It happened on national TV. The entire football world was.
And I mean, like I said. Nothing but respect for both teams, because there was the Bills and the Bengals who both said we're not moving forward with this game. It wasn't the NFL that they made that decision, and the NFL, I know they said that they're not planning to resume this game in any shape or form, and I think it was John who said, just let it be a tie. Let it be a tie. I mean, it's
but we're talking the 2 and the 3 seed going head to head to determine.
Yeah.
I totally get wanting to keep it a tie, but in the betting wise, we know it has nothing to do with sports, but it's a big part of it.
And also, it's not necessarily. I will say this. I'm going to throw this out there. People might hate me for it, but in all honesty, it's also not fair to both teams' records.
Yeah. There has to be a winner and a loser in this match.
Yeah. There has to be something in some shape or form. I mean, the NFL, would it really kill them to postpone everything for another week? To let this game kind of resume in a week from now? It's
tough. No, they're in a tough spot, but at the end of the day, the most important thing is the health of Damar Hamlin. That's at the end of the day, that's the most important thing.
And I mean, like I was saying earlier, people have been outpouring. Even a few celebrities came up and said, listen, we need to keep the family in the thoughts, but this guy has an amazing charity, and there's already been $4 million donated to that charity.
Yeah. A lot of people.
I said it before, Bill's Mafia. That's why we're called the Mafia. You know, it even if it's not something that's happening to us, if there's a charity out there, we will come out in droves and do whatever we can. That's what we do.
Yeah.
And
I,
it's
I never heard of him up until last night. Now the whole world knows who he is. You know.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's and it's sad because a young person, you know, this shows you that you could be a picture of health. It can happen at any point in time. I mean, I have a younger brother who had a heart attack. He was having heart issues, trouble breathing. He goes get checked out, and doctor's like, "You had a heart attack." He didn't even know. So it just goes to show you that you just never know, you know, what could happen. You know, they say, you know, that what's the saying? They say it all the time. Any given Sunday, anything can happen.
Yeah,
And,
it's just
you know, it happens.
With something like this. I mean, the most horrific thing that you could see is someone loses motion from the neck down. That's like the utmost worst thing that's ever happened on a football
just
field.
To see him collapse like that.
Yeah,
like
it was
he got up, like he looked like he was perfectly fine, and then just to kind of fall back like that, it's like, wait a minute, where did that come from?
Yeah, it's not supposed to happen. Not like that, no.
I mean, there's a lot of scary reports. You know, they say he's in critical condition, but I mean, even the family has said that, you know, right now they're monitoring everything. They'll let people know. JJ says, if no tie, then take the bye week before the Super Bowl. Nobody watches the Pro Bowl anymore.
The thing is that everything would have to shift. The entire playoffs would have to shift back 1 week, because why would you have the entire tournament and then the one game that didn't get to finish in week 17? You know, everything would have to shift, and it's tough.
Even if it pushed the schedule where people are playing like back-to-back games, like a couple days apart, the Bills have already done that already in Detroit.
Yeah,
because we had that one game moved, and then we played the regular game because what was it? That was a Sunday night, and then we were still there for Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just a crazy thought. Oh, did we lose Wolfpack? I think we lost the pack. There he is.
We're back. All right. Put it in sleep mode when you're on with Dave's Dimension. Come on, bro. Act like you've done this before. So yeah, all in all, I liked the episode from last night, and I would say to the haters that are saying that this show is calling back, Quantum Leap did a lot of callbacks to other things, to things that were present at the time. You know, they did their own version of Rocky. They did their own version of Scrooge. They did their own version of so and so. So you know, that's one of those things.
Those kisses with history, because like, you know, like when he was, like you just said, Rocky, when he was Kid Cody.
Yeah.
One of the other boxers at that gym was Sylvester Stallone. It said Sly Stallone, you know?
Yep.
You know, it's those kisses were with history in the early seasons were fun. When he comes across young Mikey Jackson and he teaches him how to moonwalk, and you know, or Chubby Checker, or Stephen King,
Stevie King,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, those were fun, and you know, I will say, like last night's episode, it felt very much like Fate's Wide Wheel in a way. You know, he wasn't the singer, he was the bodyguard, but still, it was, you know, it kind of felt a certain way. I told John off screen that maybe there's a reason why some of these episodes are mirroring past leaps. That maybe this is Ziggy kind of doing a kind of like an SOS out to Sam in some shape or form, because we don't know what kind of obviously Sam is going to be out there, but we don't know what kind of form Sam is taking. Is he still a physical form, or is he more of a, you know, a spiritual essence that's out there that can reform at any time? We don't know. I mean, there's a lot that can happen, and I'm curious to see now that Janice is at the project. I told John, I'm calling it right now. Something's going to go down, and she's going to wind up saving them. She's going to earn her place at Project Quantum Leap now.
Yeah, no, she was kind of baiting them. She was kind of being baited during the meeting. You know, like, well, just, you know, I'm the Quantum Leap where you should be, right? So it's not but I love Janice's line where these are my guys. I pay them really well. They love me.
Yeah, well, we pay better.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's Jen. I'm suspecting Jen a bit. I'm suspecting her a little bit because, like I was telling John, okay, we get the reference that her father is a gambler. Janice says that, she just puts that right out there. Okay, she puts that out there, and also the fact that if you go back, there was the one episode when her and Magic go to Janice's house. They find a hidden lab in the base, under the floor. All right. And just so happens that Jen was so adamant about getting that one drive out of the servers. That one corner before the place is going up, she was adamant about getting that one drive and that one drive only. That seems a little bit too focused on that. She could have grabbed anything, but she's like, no, I almost have this one out. It's like,
almost like when you're deleting incriminating news, you got to make sure you gotta lock in on just what you need, right?
Wait a minute. I gotta clear my browser. Let me do this real quick.
There you go.
I mean, it's a little suspect, right? And I mean, who knows? Maybe I'm wrong, but there's a few things that are lining up, and who knows? Maybe her and that senator struck a deal in that one episode to kind of keep things open. But then again, it could also, Ian could be also in on that kind of a thing, because I could see something where either Ian is missing or kidnapped by some nefarious whatever situation, and maybe Janice is the only one who can help the project with the computers.
Or she knows she might know some of these nefarious types. Might be a broker on getting someone. Something.
Because obviously she made her own makeshift imaging chamber.
Yeah,
she had to get those parts and resources from somewhere. So
so she's definitely got the connection and the know-how. Yeah, no, I like that idea.
I loved my favorite part of Janice's dialogue, aside from Jen making a reference like, your father did have some questionable fashion choices back in the day. I liked that. That was a nice little reference right there. But I liked when Janice claps back at Jen and says, well, you see, you're not asking the right questions. You should be asking, why didn't Ben go to you guys?
Yeah.
And I love that. I'm like, that's the question we want. And the other question I told John was, we need to be asking, okay, Ben is on this mission to save Addison, but from what? And how did he find out? How the hell does he know that she's going to die at some point in time? And for all we know, it may not be something violent. It could be a car accident. She could be choking on a walnut for all we know. It could be food allergies,
cancer from the imaging
shellfish.
Chamber. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine if the whole project that they're working so hard on is actually causing them cancer and causing them to die? That'd be.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, there's a lot of different things that can happen. There could be a surge overload, or what if the imaging chamber locks down and all the ventilation is restricted and she suffocates? I mean,
I think.
And we know she was originally supposed to be the Leaper.
Yep.
So I mean, there's a lot of craziness out there.
Lot of stuff. Let me throw in a wild one. You guys might have even touched on previous episodes. But what about a government entity trying to take over the project? Like, well, we want to control time. Yeah. We want to be able to put $12 in Microsoft back in '94.
Hey, I mean, not for nothing. I mean, Ben's back there, drop a few bucks and forward it on to his mother or something and have a little bit better life. Hey, Back to the Future. I'm just saying. Sports Almanac.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was sleeping back in time, maybe I would say, hey, act like a distant cousin to one of my uncles, be like, hey, you should bet against the Bills in all four
consecutively.
Bet against that kick right at the end. It's the Giants Super Bowl with the Bills. But I mean, it's that's the thing though. I mean, we don't know where he's getting this information from. A few people in the chat mentioned, they mentioned about maybe it was his older self. Well, again, if his older self gives him that information, and then he changes the future, then how can his older self give him the information? Because now it's a completely different timeline and everything's done differently now. So, I mean, it's going to be really interesting. Ricardo says, awesome stream. I have to check out. I have to get something to take care of. Everyone have a great night. JJ, good seeing you, brother. Later's all. Take care, Ricardo, man. You have yourself a great night. Be safe, man.
You know what? Possibly another leaper. Possibly another leaper. Not even connected to your grandfather theory, which is a good one.
Yeah, we know Leaper X.
Yeah.
Now, all we know is Leaper X said to Ben, "You better stop following me, or else." Right? That's all we know. For all we know, he could be on our side in the future.
Yeah.
For all we know, okay. He didn't necessarily do anything that showed that he was evil. Because if he was evil, he would have stabbed Ben or shot him or done something. You know. For all we know, there could be. Sound was going a little goofy. Maybe it's my headphones. But I mean, there's a lot of things that it could be. It could be, like you said, another leaper from the future. It could be. I mean, for all we know, like I wouldn't mind seeing a situation where I told this to John in the beginning of the stream. Ben tries to save Addison at whatever point in time that this is happening. He fails. And after he fails, you know, he's just completely emotion, ball wreck. He doesn't know what the hell he can do now since he failed to his fiance. And then Sam appears and gives him a reset. Because we've seen a reset happen when there's more than one leaper. In the original series, there was the evil leaper Aaliyah. And at the end of that, she failed in her mission. And her observer, you know, swirled and vanished away. And then time reset itself to the moment when Sam leaped into that leap to begin with. Him and Al were like, wait a minute, what just happened? And Al's checking the hand link, and everything says that it was all resets. But him and Sam knew they lived that whole day and a half ahead of time. They're the only ones who knew that everything happened. So I mean, who's to say that Sam might not? You know, Sam could appear and be like, "Let's fix this." You know,
yeah.
And that would be something like, what if Sam is kind of like an overseer of leaping now? I mean, he's been away for good 30 years. Who's to say that he hasn't evolved and maybe he has powers of time now? I mean, for all that we know. I mean, that's making him very OP. But I mean, come on.
If very airbender like, and I time travel, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, give him a little Goku instant transmission. Just like he get instant transmission through space and time. Well, I mean, we know dead people and angels exist in Quantum Leap.
Yeah.
There was the one
cab driver.
He was a taxi driver. Yeah. So we know that there's angels out there. And second, the very last episode of Quantum Leap, the original one, Stropa, Al's uncle, he said that he has tried to save all those miners over and over again and has failed. That the dead are out there repeating events to try and save people until they can get it right.
And
Sam was there.
And that was in the final season where the whole reset was shoehorned in, because it was never established that if you failed your mission you got the reset. It was more established that you were stuck in that timeline now.
Yeah. So I mean, and we know that the rules of Quantum Leap are out the window in this series.
Yeah.
The fact that one, he can potentially leap further back in time, backwards or forwards now, because even Magic said, well, that shouldn't be possible. Well, time travel shouldn't actually be possible.
Yeah.
Everything's out the window.
We call those hangovers.
But I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Like I said, I'm calling it that Janice is going to save the day. There's going to be a betrayal. I don't know if it's Jen or if it's Ian or if it's someone else in the background of the project. Because that's one thing I think that they're kind of missing. All those people in the background, you telling me that none of them talked to Ian, none of them talked to Jen. I mean, we finally saw some military personnel in this episode escorting Janice into the project. But another dangerous thing is, we know Janice hacked the hell out of Ziggy, right? Who's to say she doesn't have like verbal commands, like she can unlock the doors anytime she wants?
That would be good.
I'm just saying.
That would be
she
good.
Could have all different kinds of subroutines, but there could even be like, obviously we know there's another project somewhere. We don't know what happened of the evil project from Sam's from the original Quantum Leap. For all we know, this is the time frame when that project is really launching. That evil project. and they might even be hacking into Ziggy. And Janice maybe has to work with Ian, or maybe Janice is the only one who can actually help save Ziggy. And maybe they bring back the old Ziggy, and that's when we finally hear the voice. Because we haven't heard Ziggy all throughout this series so far.
Yeah.
All we heard was Deborah Pratt's voice in the original, the intro in the very first episode, but that's it. We haven't heard Ziggy yet. So that makes me wonder, like, will they bring back the old Ziggy? There's a lot of things that we can see happen. But I definitely think things that are going to be interesting now that Janice is in the project.
Yeah, no, it's definitely going to speed up the story arcs in present time. In present time, because now it's you've got everything you need. It's not like, oh, we still need to meet Janice. We need to learn her. We've got it.
Dennis brings off a good point. The same thing happened in the Stevie King episode when he beat the devil.
Yep.
You know.
So okay, so we're getting into since we just touched on supernatural almost stuff about it, right? The Stephen King episode was heavily based on the devil, right? Now in Revenge or the first Evil Leaper episode, they are obviously on the other side of good, right? Because in the whole Quantum Leap, it's a higher power
evil.
that
they're about ruining things. Yeah.
Yeah, they never name, but yeah, these guys are this way. Those guys are from down there. It's just assumed. Even when she fails her mission and she gets sent to, I call it purgatory, call it Hell Junior. I don't know exactly where they had her, but she looked like
because she referenced we had to claw our way back out of hell, out of these other missions. But yeah, and here's the thing. Here's another thing. Since he brought up the Stevie King episode, what if the devil got the idea? Oh, you guys are going to go leaping around making things right that I made wrong. Well, you know what? I'm going to come up with my own project, but we don't know what time frame that originated from. So that's a good point right there. That maybe, and come on, the name of Lothos. The only time I can think of a name Lothos is Beetlejuice. Remember the big portly guy who got his hands on the book?
Yeah.
And I'm sure Lothos is probably a reference to something like Dante's Inferno or some kind of like literary book from way back when. But it's there's a lot of things. I know a lot of people don't want the Evil Leapers brought in just yet. It would be rushing it. Wait until maybe the latter half of season 2.
Yeah,
maybe if even
May Sweep season 2 sounds about right. Sounds about right.
I know that there's other projects, but we don't. But we know there's another Leaper. Like I said, we don't know if he's bad. He could be a good guy for all we know, or he could just be a parallel project somewhere else. We mentioned like an Elon Musk kind of private organization, or that senator. She gets a little antsy waiting around. Maybe we never know. We never knew what happened with the old project. Did they just abandon the building? Is the accelerator still there? With a little bit of elbow grease, could it be reactivated? There's a lot of different things that could potentially happen.
Yeah. No, breaking into some classified areas in was it New Mexico?
Hey, Vern.
Right?
Hope Vern's doing well. Vern's popping in. He said 1984. I think you mean 1985. That's a Back to the Future reference about the Toyota pickup right there.
I had a Toyota pickup too. It's probably about a 90. It's called a 96, 95 Toyota pickup. Little, 2-seater.
At least it wasn't like a tracker or something like the Geo trackers. Those little freaky things back in the day.
Yeah. Otho
was the name from Beetlejuice. Okay, yeah, Otho. Pretty close though.
Yeah, no, that was good. I couldn't even remember his name, but I bet everyone remembers the big guy.
And Dennis is asking about Sam's daughter, Sammy Jo Fuller. Yeah, we don't know what happened to her. For all we know, maybe she started an evil project because the old project was shut down and she felt, dissed and put off. That's a possibility. Well, that's one thing that we would. The girl who played Sammy Jo, if she's still acting, bring her back. They did that with Beth. The the girl who played Sammy Joe, I mean, 30 some odd years later, she could be in her 40s, which would be a good, they could do something like that, So, I mean, we'll see what happens with that.
Or bring us something of a somewhat known celebrity like Deborah Wool this last episode. Someone that brings weight to the character. It doesn't necessarily have to be the original person, because I may not even remember what that original person looked like. But give me someone with acting chops that can kind of hold their own. Is all I'm gonna say.
I mean, there's a lot of different things. There's a lot of good actors. They've had a lot of good people. Like, was it Justin Hartley from who was on Smallville? He did a stint on one of the episodes, the Bounty Hunter episode.
Yeah.
There's been some good actors pop in here, and I'll throw this out there. There's a lot of actors out there who can play some pretty dark characters. Like I mentioned, the actor who plays Ian played Lucifer in the Sandman series on Netflix.
Okay.
So we know a character like that can play some twisted characters.
He's got that deep voice. He's got that deep voice where you can kind of almost like you're doing a fake Bane. Like doing a fake
so I
Bane.
mean, for all we know, Ian could be playing Possum. He could be putting on this whole facade and really be something else.
Well, they did make it a point. Addison made it a point that to tell Ben she doesn't know how to read people when she brought up the Bounty Hunter episode and their target. So they do keep talking about trust between Addison and Ben, whether it's a reference to trusting in present time, whether it's a trust me because I'm your observer. I've got the hand link. I know what's going on.
Okay, so one of my friends just mentioned that Hamlin is on the ventilator but improving. Ventilator down to 50%. He was 100% this morning on the ventilator, so he is improving. So I just got that information. I just wanted to share that with you guys. So that's good. But yeah, I mean, like I told John, I said we could sit here all damn night and come up with theories on what could potentially happen. My whole thing is I'm just trying to wrap my head around one. I want to know where the new project is based out of. It has to be somewhere in California, like Los Angeles or
Silicon Valley type,
somewhere like that. For one, because what still bugs the hell out of me is what did they do with the old project? How was it? Was it dismantled? How was it mothballed? Who has access to it? Because obviously, like. You get like some lands that government leases a land for X number of years and then it reverts back to the original owners.
Yeah.
They did something similar to that in the Knight Rider revival that they did, because the government was leasing the facility, but then the facility reverted back to the original owners after the government pulled out, which happened to be the original creator of KIT, Dr. Neil Gaiman. He wound up getting the ownership, so his daughter took over the ownership of the facility, and then they made it their own. So I mean, there could be any number of things, but it just bugs the hell out of me that they wouldn't just close shop. They would have to like cement and bury the hell out of the project. But what if they didn't? What if the government didn't? The government's not always the greatest at accounting. Let's be honest.
It's kind of perfect for a show that's a throwback to a show that used to do a lot of, or it's a show that's a callback to a show that used to do a lot of callbacks. Give me a freaking Indiana Jones scene where we're walking through stacks and stacks and stacks of pallets trying to find what is this the Ark? Is this the quantum leap accelerator? What's in here?
Or let me throw this out of left field kind of idea. Something happens. Either the government or that senator shuts them the hell down. So they go to New Mexico. They break into the old facility. They start jerry-rigging things using the old technology. We get the old hand link,
And guess who's hiding out in some back room? But our good friend Scott Bakula. Let me show you how to put this thing together. Me and my buddy Al built this thing.
Like you see some sparks and maybe a flash out of the chamber. And he just walks out.
Yeah.
He just strolls like it's nothing.
Blue light in the background. He's wearing the white turtleneck, everything.
The Fermi suit, they called it back in the day. I mean, anything could happen. And I think that would actually that would be a nice little wrinkle that they're having to use the old technology and it keeps failing and failing. Because remember, how many times was Al whacking the hell out of the damn hand link?
Yeah.
I mean, everything was kind of mothballed, and or everything was just kind of jerry rigged. We know they have the old hand link. We know Janice had the old hand link. We don't know where that old hand link is though. We know that Addison had to use an older prototype hand link for a minute, which I kind of miss. I don't like the little Siri clamshell that she's holding.
Yeah.
It looks like an office desk
Alexa
speaker. Yeah.
Alexa, who killed so and so back in 44?
But I mean, it's just those kinds of things. Like I could see if that one center got kind of pissed off and was like, well, you know what, we're shutting you out, so that Magic and the others decide to go to the old base. And I could see something like that, and that could be a bit of fun too. You could have a lot of things going wrong with it, and
well, it's your rags to riches story. It's your ragtag team. They don't have all this tech. They don't have all that. They got to go back to think of like almost Terminator 3. Remember when they were trying to get to the bunker that was going to save humanity or whatever? When
and everything was all like 1980s kind of like early 80s kind of war games kind of technology.
Yep. There you go. Something like that would be great.
Like I said, they did something with during the one season of the Knight Rider series, like halfway through, they kind of did like a complete reboot. Like the government was betrayed everybody, so the government did this own thing, and they moved out of where the base was, and you had the core protagonists. They came together. They broke into the old facility. The old facility was stripped of all the cool gadgets and stuff, so they had to jerry rig things so they could run out of that base. It was just, instead of like 100 and like 200 people running it, it was like 4 people running the base. Yeah, everyone kind of having to double up on stuff. So I mean, it's something like that could be could be a bit interesting, and maybe introduce some kind of off the wall kind of like weird conspiracy theorist type characters, which could have a little bit more entertainment value. Like we had Gushy, red-haired guy with halitosis that was just kind of a weird bug-eyed kind of looking guy. He was just kind of a laugh whenever you saw him. Or Al with all his amazing outfit, like his crazy outfits, that was just kind of entertaining. And
that was supposed to be what 1992's look at 1998 fashion.
Yeah, I mean, see, the one thing I think was missing is the humor. Because Al making those comments that you really can't make nowadays, let's be honest. I mean, we need some kind of crazy humor. Addison's just not cutting it. And like I said to John, she's all but hurt the fact that Ben took it upon himself to go into the accelerator and to go through time and try to save her. She needs to shut the hell up, because if she knew that he was going to die, she would jump into the accelerator before she knew it was proven to work. So she really needs to just chill the hell out and just ease up. Plus, it also talks to her not having faith in him because he was a scientist, and now he's proven to her. There's a few episodes when she's like, okay, because he's he's knocking people out, he's doing stuff that she never thought he would ever do. She even said, she said to Jen that she's kind of even falling more in love with him now. In the earlier episodes.
That might be part of the new programming. We don't know that they didn't do a Sylvester Stallone, was it Simon Phoenix type while you're
Demolition Man, like while you're sleeping, like the kind of the like, here, I knit you a sweater.
Yeah. So Stallone's programming was learn to knit, learn to make quilts, while
I knit you a sweater, but I still don't know how to work the clamshells.
Yeah, there you go. Yes, we don't know that some of that new programming is instilling these things into Ben as needed. I don't need you to clean your M16 all day long. Just at that right moment when you need it.
Even Sam. Because with the Swiss cheese memory, he did things that people might not have thought that he would ever do. So I mean, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot we don't know about the new programming, and like I said, with Ziggy. We don't know if this is the original Ziggy or a different Ziggy. You know?
Yeah, it's just a name. Just a name at this point.
And for all we know, this project is the beginning of the evil project, and that's why they go to the old project and kind of battle things.
Yeah, no,
there's a lot of different things that can
Anytime we're dealing with time travel,
well, let's be honest. How many times you see a movie, you get a scientist who's coming up with something good, he wants to use it to better humanity, and someone greedy comes along and says, "You know what? We're going to do this for ourselves,
make a ton of money in the process." You're right.
Was it Time Cop? You ever saw the movie Time Cop? I mean that they had a parallel time project. The one senator had, and he was sending people back. Senator McCombs. Yeah, you had Ron Silver was the actor's name. You had he was going back and having people do heists, stealing money that was lost. I mean, it's a good scam.
Yeah, secretly funding his presidential run, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was good. I remember watching it. I want to say it was about 95, 96 by the time you got it on video. My dad didn't know the premise of it. We're just watching the movie, and it starts out. It starts out, cowboys. It's Confederate times, and they're in the rain.
Yeah, and they got the machine guns. They got the Uzis.
My dad was pissed. He's like, "Those guns didn't win invented." Then I'm like, "Chill. It's in the title, Dad. You'll see.
I mean, that's still a fun movie. They even did a short-lived series on ABC.
Time Cop. I think I remember something like that. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and what's funny is, okay, we're talking about time travel, right? Who is in Time Cop? The guy who played Al in the last episode of Quantum Leap, and the guy who played Big Ernie.
He was the director. He was the
weird Ernie in the first one. He was he was the head of it. Was it I can't remember the actual name. It was a Polish name, though. I know it was.
Yeah, no, but yeah, same guy. And Time Cop was probably a year after the final episode of the original Quantum Leap. So there was still that freshness in your mind of, oh yeah, that was Al. That was the real Al.
So yeah, Al. There's a lot of craziness that can happen. We're gonna see what happens next. The next episode, I kind of watched the replay because I watched the episode early this morning because my local news was preempting last night's episode for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But I mean, we'll see what happens. Like I said, obviously the next episode is they're gonna be interrogating Janice at some point. But I think that Janice is, because we know that she was trying to communicate to Ben at one point with her imaging chamber. She was putting some seeds, some thoughts in Jen's head, like, well, you got to think about why didn't he come to you guys? At some point, Magic is going to talk to her, and I think privately she might throw a little bit of information to him once or twice, because we know of the project, we know we can at least trust Addison within reason, because she lets her emotions get to her, which is kind of weird for a soldier if you think about it. If she was this big soldier like we think she is, then she should be used to just taking orders and following them. But she seems to be a little bit of wild card, and we know Magic is looking out for people because this is his family basically. But I think we'll see a different side of Magic once we find out whoever is the untrustworthy person in the project. Now, who would you pick? You think it's someone like in the background that we don't even know yet?
Yeah, I mean, there's if you think about it, it's a very their base of operation has tons of people in and out, but you only talk to these 5 people. It's like Central Perk on Friends. Either the people working there are jerks that don't want to talk to anybody else, or there's stuff going on behind the scenes that we're not seeing. And
we see all these people in the background. It's like we never see any of them like hand Ian something or like say, oh, we're running this test, but we're having these kinds of we're having unfavorable feedback, or we don't get any kind of tech interaction, which seems a bit odd.
Yeah, and I mean it can be subtle, and we might even be seeing it now, and we don't know that we're seeing it, but it can just be something subtle, like a side eye from someone, or a You know, you just typed in some kind of command, or you read someone's password over their shoulder.
Hey, that guy over there, he's playing Galaga.
Yeah,
Nobody thought he was.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
little subtle things, and for all we know, or it'll be nice that when we find out who's the big bad for the season, maybe he had multiple people in there, and they're all feeding on little things that we don't know. Almost like I don't know, just any kind of suspense movie or any kind of movie that kind of plays with your mind. Like, bro, there was so many moving parts to get this deception to go down. You don't even know. I had to have the milkman was in on it, the ice cream man, the flagger at your kid's school, he was in on it.
And Dennis is asking, mirror image, what is your take on the picture of Al glowing twice? Because there's a picture right at the end. There's a picture of like Al's picture kind of like changing, like it's shimmering. I think that was just something extra that the creators threw into the show to kind of throw like, oh, Al's future is changing now. I think that's what that was, more of a symbolism. Because when Sam tells Beth, he's like, I'm gonna tell you a story, but we're gonna start with the ending first.
Yeah.
Happily ever after. Al's alive. Then we see that young picture of Al, and then we see the shimmer on it.
Yeah.
I think that's more symbolizing that Al's future is changing for the better. But also, we don't know how Al's end was. Like you mentioned about what if the chamber was giving cancer or something.
I mean, I'm pulling things out of my butt, but it's just something you never know.
Well, I mean, you gotta think. Sam did mention that the imaging chamber had uranium radiation rings. So who knows if there wasn't damage at some point in time? Someone substandard contracting. We don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, any number of things is possible, or the fact that he did actually leap once. That simul leap with Sam might have affected him in ways that we wouldn't see until decades later. Any number of things could have been the fact. And I'm also wondering, is there more than symbolism, more than sentimentalism behind Janice wearing Al's ring, his military ring? There could be something more to that in some kind of way.
Yeah, unlock the nuclear key type thing. Yeah,
it could be something that once scanned by Ziggy, maybe unlocks some files or something. We don't know.
Yeah, DNA coding. I like it. I like that theory. I like that.
Some biometrics. I'm just saying.
Yeah, definitely.
But I mean, we'll see what happens. It's about 10 o'clock my time here. What are your final thoughts on how would you rate this episode?
You know what? I'm biased. I'm a big fan of Deborah Wool since I've mentioned her like maybe 8-9 times since I've been on. So having her at the very beginning, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a good one. I'm
like, wait a minute, is that?
Yeah, I did. I was like, is that if you squint a little bit? Yeah.
I was like, okay.
I would like to see more of these episodes with somewhat semi-known actors. And it will get some of these people that are kind of on the fence on board.
Well, I wouldn't mind Christopher Lloyd in an episode.
Yeah, that'd be good. Use him however you want to use him. But yeah,
a lot of people say now. People are going to say, "What you want Doc in there?" I don't mean the character, but get Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah,
and a lot of people don't know. One, he started in television in Taxi.
Yeah,
and a lot of people flew over the Cuckoo's Nest. He did a lot of stuff back in the day, but another time travel show, 12 Monkeys, that was on Sci-Fi Channel. He appeared in the later seasons.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not out of the realm of possibility that he would maybe pop up in a Quantum Leap episode.
Yeah, definitely. To answer your question though, I'm going to say it was. If the commercial breaks were the worst thing about the episode, I'm going to give it at least. I got to give it at least 8.5, at least an 8.5 for me.
I'm going to say 8 because I like that. They kept throwing like, okay, we fixed this. Oh, now this has happened. Now this has happened. That is a very strong trope in time travel shows.
Yeah.
Movies.
Time correction.
Try and fix one thing, and then something else happens. I mean, you can't keep anticipating it. And as someone who is a tech person, anyone watching this, if you ever dealt with COBOL programming, writing any kind of computer code, that's what this is. You fix 3 errors, now you have 8 errors. You fix 8 errors, now you have 12. You fix 12, now you're down to 3. That's something that is very that's something with coding that is it happens, and that's perfectly aligned with time travel. You can keep on trying to go back and fixing things. You're going to be doing it forever. There's always going to be something else that you're trying to fix, that you're trying to perfect. I like that. I like that it kept us guessing as to who the bad person was. I thought that blonde backup singer was just a bitch.
Yeah.
I just thought she was just an annoying bitch who was, because like looking back at the episode, watching it a second time, like her saying like like she kept hitting on Ben, like, oh, when are we going to go out anytime soon? When that makes sense that obviously maybe she knew that Ben's character and the singer were, because they make that, she makes that one reference. I thought last week you meant that we would,
Yeah.
So I mean, there's there's a lot of stuff.
The thing about girls is sometimes they'll do something only because they know you're taken. So that's yeah.
It's like, oh, you're available.
Let me jump on this.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's it is what it is. Damn, I remember doing call. Yeah. You, Dennis, you know what I'm talking about. I hated that.
Fortran. Oh, that's the program.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Jerry Swans, thanks for popping through the stream. I hope you like it. Yeah, we do this every week that there's a new episode of Quantum Leap. We do a little recap the next day. Can't do it the same night.
I know, Jerry.
But yeah, I mean, I thought this was an 8. I like some of the feel of it. It just feels like some of the leaps aren't like, they don't have, I don't want to say the danger, but in the old series, everything was, it was all life and death. It just feels like things are a little bit, what it feels like? It feels like, okay, there's this game, everyone's playing it. I'm on beginner level. That's what it kind of feels like. Things are a little safe. Now, the first couple episodes of this season, we had some big stakes. Ben literally leaping through space off a damn space shuttle to that space station. I mean, we had some major stakes, and now it's almost like we're not really getting it too much. And we can't have that all the time. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
You gotta have some lows. You gotta have some peaks and valleys. But it honestly, it feels like it's on easy mode. And I've said this before. He comes off like, oh, he's already so adjusted to leaping already. Like in this episode, as soon as he's there, he's already looking at IDs and trying to get like a newspaper, trying to see what date it is. Like he's already got it dialed in. It just seems like I get that it's the writing, but it just feels a little too too on easy mode,
Yeah, no, it's definitely the writing, because with the older one, and I hate to have to compare them with almost every sentence, but in the older one, it was almost what was one of the things was, Al, where am I, or what am I here to do, Al? And it'd be like, okay, well, it's 1972, your name is so and so, and you're dating, so and I would give us the rundown. We don't get it so much with Addison, but it's they're both two different actors. So their delivery is completely different. Well.
Where's the whole, like, when Addison shows up, like, excuse me, I gotta hit. I gotta go to the head.
Let me take this real quick.
And I mean, we could have a lot of comedy with like Addison just kind of like bathroom again, or like even Al was like, really, the bathroom, Sam, really. I mean, we could have a bit of fun with that, but we're not having that. And I think, like I said this before, the humor. We had a lot of humor in the original series, and I don't want to knock the actor who plays Ben, but I don't feel that he really has comic timing at all.
And that's you need that.
Even some of his dramatic acting, like, we get that he wants to do good, but it feels like someone reading a book. Okay, it's maybe he still needs to get that rhythm. We don't know, but I mean, those are the things that hit me. I mean, all in all, like the episode, the music composition.
Yeah.
I I thought the song was okay.
Yeah.
Um.
Well, for as far as this iteration's been running, the music has been great in every episode. The cars are spot on to the era. Even the clothes, the tech. So they're knocking out of the park when it comes to those things.
I mean, the fashion. I mean, like even in the original Quantum Leap, the '70s clothes really looks like overly like you could tell that's like polyester and all that stuff. The costume designing and like you said, the cars. Like the first couple episodes, everything was like, man, it's like looks like these cars are brand new.
Yeah, and no, and I'm one of those guys. I'm scanning things to make sure
the Chevy Caprices that they hit. I mean, like
top cars. Yeah,
everything just looks like. I'm like, my grandfather had a Chevy Caprice. He had the old Chevy Caprice that was identical to those cop cars. I'm like, I'm looking at it like I'm expecting to see like a little bit of rust or the chrome trim. Everything was polished. Everything was perfect. I mean, obviously they're spending money because those cars, the insurance alone on those cars are not cheap.
Show cars, yeah.
I mean, but I mean, I mean, it doesn't look like stock footage like it did back in the old show. A good portion of that stuff was like stock footage, but I mean, they're doing a great job. It's I'm still what I kind of want to see is I want to see at least 1 or 2 episodes where Ben leaps into maybe someone's life, maybe not the same exact person, but maybe someone's life that Sam leaped into prior.
Yeah.
I still want to see Tom.
Yeah.
Sam's brother. What if Sam's brother reached out to Magic or came to see Magic? Because I mean, he's got to have some kind of clearance.
So well, and still some form of military background.
Or what if he was just having lunch with Magic or something? I mean,
something.
Give us some throwbacks, or what if we actually, like maybe Addison or someone or Ian or someone were going through the old Quantum Leap files to see some of the leaps that Sam went through, to maybe find suggestions on how to help Ben through some of these leaps.
Yeah,
because let's make these leaps getting more complicated or harder. Because that in itself is a callback to the last episode of Quantum Leap. Remember when Al said, sometimes a priest goes before he goes on a more difficult assignment. He can take sabbatical. Are you telling me the leaps are going to get harder? Yeah, I mean, come on. Let's have some situations with not necessarily the mafia, but I mean, let's have some situations where
they had that. Sam dealt with that singing soprano.
Yeah. No, but I mean, like Ben. They have Ben in those kinds of situations.
I think definitely to help this season as far as fans. I mean, at this point, you're either in or you're not.
Now I'm going to throw something at you. Come on, NBC, you guys teased us with that Joe Montana clip.
Yeah.
Come on, I mean, you're going to tease us with that Joe Montana leap. Come on, give us that episode.
Yeah, no,
give us that episode. And you know what? They would be smart as hell if they did it around the Super Bowl. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying because
who's got the Super Bowl this year?
I don't even know.
Well, that'd be that. I mean, that'd be a hell of a lead-in. That'd be a hell of a lead-in to your show. But yeah, I mean, definitely
that teaser was spot on, making it look like young Joe Montana from the '80s.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely something where he helps him get that touchdown or something. Some brushes with his.
I'm calling the 49ers versus the Dolphins Super Bowl
83.
That would be a good one.
Well,
that would be a good episode to do.
The Ray Finkel laces out.
And Finkel's Einhorn's Finkel.
Yeah.
Let's see, where does it? It's Sunday, February 12th. Where's it happening?
Okay.
I'm taking a look at it right now.
Yeah.
Where is it? Come on, NFL, talk to me.
I mean, it would definitely be beneficial, something like that on Super Bowl, whatever.
And especially if it's on NBC, that would be a
Yeah.
perfect lead-in. Come
Yeah.
on.
Top 5. Well, Dave, I'm gonna cash out. Killer Mike just pulled up from basketball practice.
Yeah, Arizona.
It's in Arizona. That's almost a home game. No, fingers crossed. But if we're still alive, we're probably playing your Bills. We don't know. But yeah, Arizona.
We'll see what happens.
Arizona's is about a 2-hour flight. I can be there in about 2 hours.
Well, I got a buddy there in Arizona, so I could probably crash if I somehow made the trip. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see. It's still a lot of football to be played.
Great seeing, man. Great hanging out. Everyone in the chat, all the Leapers, guys, will be back next week. And if you guys have any questions, and by the way, guys, I forgot to put the link in the chat today, but every week this is an open stream, so anybody and their grandmother can hop in here and talk some Quantum Leap, guys. So, guys, until next time, I want to thank Wolfpack. I want to thank Super Awesome Geek Show. Please follow their channels. Please follow this man on Instagram, because he had some nice little fire figures you showed off. By the way, figure of 2022.
Nice.
This is Dimension got me this. I unboxed this yesterday. I had the video dropping Thursday, and I'm loving this guy. Now, I'm not hunting for the other two, but if I find them on clearance or at a decent price, I will get the other variants to go with them. But this is in the effects on him.
Yeah, no.
They gave us some new effects, and these are not some jelly little limp ones. These are some good ones, man. So, but I want to thank everyone for coming out, hanging out. We had 20 likes. Thank you guys, and we are 9 away from 900. I can't believe that. I'm like,
congrats!
I don't know what the hell is going on with that.
Yeah, hey, you've been doing big things, man. The channel's growing. Love the analytics is loving them some Dave's Dimension right now. So
we'll see. I mean, it's mostly Ghostbusters, man. That I did a little video because I reached out to the Dublin Ghostbusters. They got over in Europe. They got the HasLabs ahead of time. That's going to be a video in a stream I want to do. Is the discussion of do you go through HasLab or do you go through Hasbro, or should you just go through Zavi for future HasLabs, because you'll get them sooner.
Then yeah.
So I mean, that's a stream I want to do sometime in the future. So because I mean that's a big discussion. Like, you're gonna get a HasLab a month before anyone else. So content creators like us, if we go in on a HasLab, we want, obviously we want to be the first ones to show it off. Yeah. So I mean, you're gonna go Zavi and not go through HasLab, but how would that affect the campaign if you do that too? So that's kind of something I want to throw out there in the future and do a little discussion on that. But I want to thank you for coming out.
Hasbro gets their money regardless.
They're going to get the money somehow, but I wonder how get a discussion going on and see how that is. But we'll do that in the future. You said you got to go, so we're going to wrap this stream up. I have another video I need to record, but guys, I have a video coming out this week. Do you have anything going on with your channel or with Instagram? You know what?
I've got some stuff on IG that I need to open up for the reels. Big weight off my shoulder. I'm not buying so much, so there's not like 19 boxes stacked up. Up to.
I got about maybe 18 Black Series figures. I got about 8 or 12 McFarlanes, and I just did the Micro Galaxy. I just got the Razor Crest, and I think I might be getting some more.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff coming out, guys.
Yep. And of course, sometime I got my email, and my order says it's in process, so the Spengler pack is coming sometime soon. So,
yeah, nice.
I can't wait to unbox that, and we're going to be doing videos on that. I mean, from what I've seen, it looks amazing. I mean, for $400, it's a damn steal.
Yeah,
people are already selling it for $2,000, $3,000 on
it. That's to be expected. Think of it like a guy like me. I'm just barely coming into cosplay. I don't know how to put these packs together, let alone where to get the materials.
I mean, it's a steal for anyone. Like, I've told people it's a steal. If you're a fan but you're not into the props, it's all right there. It's all right there. They even give you the brackets to put the Alice frame harness on it, and you get the Spengler wand. You connect it in, and you can turn the pack on and off with the wand. It does all your work for you right there. So I mean, it's a steal and a half. There's rumors and rumblings that people want to do campaigns to get Hasbro to do additional runs. I mean, it's sold out so fast that they do another run, they'll sell that out too. And even if they
change the color schemes a little bit,
if they took some of the extras off of the pack and did it as a 1984 pack, I know several thousand people who will go for that in a New York minute. So I mean,
in a Buffalo New York minute.
Well, no, I know. Well, one guy I know he ordered 5.
Wow.
One of my guys bought 5 because he's very smart. When they do stuff like that, he'll he wants to keep one for himself, and he's going to flip 1 or 2, and it's they're going to pay for themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, you throw a little shipping on it, but like he's the kind of guy that if he buys something for like $400, he might sell it for $600 reasonably to recoup shipping costs and that kind of stuff. But beyond that, like he's not going to do like some of these people I see like $2,000 for the Spengler pack. I mean, we've seen worse for Galactus and just right.
Yep.
But I mean, we'll see what happens. But thanks for hanging out, and you have yourself a good week. And
I'm good.
We'll catch you on the flip side.
Yep. Everybody in the replay, thanks for hanging out with us. You guys know every week that there is a Quantum Leap. The Leapcasters coming through deep.
Yes, sir. Take care.
All right, guys.